You, what up, YouTube? It's your man J Bookie Books. So we here talking about Fat Joe today. All right, is he a super kappa, Captain Crunch, Captain America, if you will? I don't know. I've been around Joe a few times in my life, right? And for all of y'all who don't know who I am, I like to formally introduce myself. That's me. I used to be a rapper. My rap name used to be J Boogs, hence the name of the YouTube channel, J Boogie Boogs. My nickname has been Book since I was a little nigga. I so I have a lot of family in the Bronx, and I've been around Joe a couple times since a long time ago. I'm talking about the mid '80s, not to date myself here, but my uncle was a big dude in the Bronx, Big Mel 147, Peace King. Um, he used to be a bouncer at a club called the Rhythm Factory. All right. So this is where a lot of went off, and it was wild. All right, we talking about the mid '80s. All right, we talking about the Bronx, and we talking about Fordham Road here. All right, there wasn't a lot of clubs out to begin with back in the days, and this was in the birthplace and probably one of the wildest spots that you could be at, especially for my age. I had no business being there. My uncle was just a big dog bouncer, and he brought me a couple times with one of my cousins. All right. So it was dope. We got to meet a lot of people, bro. This is before Joe was on, though. All right. So the first time I meet Joe, y'all don't understand. All right. Y'all see Joe the way he is now, and he's smaller, obviously. Not so fat Joe. We talking about fat Joe right now. All right. Y'all don't understand the presence that this dude had. He had a very large, intimidating presence about him. I don't think you can understand if you wasn't around this dude. You felt it. He was like from Daredevil, Kingpin. Not even to be funny as far as size went. I'm talking about like he was like that too, but larger than life. Um, this was before he was on. This is before Flojo, yo. So he was a big dog. All right. He walks in all denim white outfit. All right. I'm talking about all denim white outfit, but you could hardly see the denim white because there's graffiti airbrush everywhere, bro. And as a little dude coming up in the graffiti era, like I'm a graffiti head, through and through. So that off the rip just sparked my like, yo, and then seeing how he just commanded the people around him, bro. I'm not even lying to you. When he say he with 100 cats, yeah, he may be exaggerating. You have to paint the picture and make your stories a little larger than life. But he's not all the way lying, bro. I promise you. And this is before he was on, all right? That club was wild. Yo, there was times that shots rang off. I was lucky enough to meet artists before they came out. Leaders of the New. I met Busta Rhymes before he even had locks, bro. They was little baby locks and shit. But Kid Capri, I met so many people there, nice and smooth. Yo, man, it was, bro, the golden age, man. I was lucky to be there. I've been unofficially on since I've been a little nigga, bro. I've been around the culture my family has, and I've been lucky enough to grow up in this culture, bro, and I love it. But back to Fat Joe. All right, so fast forward a little bit later in life, and I'm trying to get on myself. And instead of making demos, because this is back in the days before internet time, so we talking about no internet at all. So there's no internet. I'm running my ish the old way. All right, you gotta find a place to record. Once you do find a place to record, I wanted to separate myself from all the other artists. So back in the days, people were giving a demo tapes out. Everything was a demo tape. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do, busted a move, and got myself a CD burner. I had a whole studio in the crib. I was making CDs at a time with people just making demo tapes. So I made thousands and thousands of CDs at playtime, bro. Y'all don't understand the difficulty it was to make music back in the days. Y'all have I don't know, luxury if you want to call it. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So somehow my CD gets into the hands of Fat Joe. Now, Fat Joe is a famous storyteller, bro. Like in the short period of time that I was around him, he told me hella stories. B. He told me the famous story about Eminem, about he got M's demo, mad different times, and he didn't sign him to sign. He wasn't going to make that mistake again. And any demo that came through, he was going to take his time and listen to it. So look, did he help me, bro? Yeah, I mean, in a way he did, and he didn't. Would I have wanted to be signed to TS? Probably not. They had a roster that was deep, and them niggas was never coming out, bro. Let's just be for real, bro. They was never coming out. When you have the head of a label that is also the artist, my man, you never drop it. They're the first priority before you, ever, always, always. All right, you never coming out. As nobody ever from TS came out. Now this is before Pun. This is before Remy. All right, so look, Joe took my CD and actually took the time to listen to it. All right, so now we in a different club. Now we in a club called Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. All right, so when I tell you Joe ran Jimmy's Bronx, like you don't understand. Jimmy's Bronx was like a yo, the spot was just so big I don't have words for it. All right. It was one of the jumpingest, poppingest spots you could end up at. All right. And Joe ran this place, B. All right. So when he's telling stories about being with 100 dudes and yo, he's not lying, B. If there wasn't 100, there was 67, bro. Like, you don't understand. But so this cat did me the favor of listening to my music, and I was always appreciative about that. Probably doesn't remember me, and I don't expect him to, but he did have a dinner with me and my crew. Uh, he had made a joke because my crew got a lot of different nationalities, and he had made a joke like, "What is this, the United Nations?" He's mad funny, bro. I thought I was an animated person. He's mad funny, bro. Like I said, and intimidating at the same time. So and this is Big Fat Joe. So, he's telling stories and he's commanding the table and he's there with 20 niggas at the table and I'm there with 9 of my niggas at the table and he's like, order whatever the fuck y'all want. And there's people all over the place and Jimmy's everybody coming up to him and yo, it was wild, bro. It was a wild experience, man. It was dope for me, bro. The fact that he took his time, listened to my music. There was one song that had a title. We had the same title, I guess, of a song, and his album wasn't out yet. And he was assuring me that he didn't steal the title from me. I remember that. It was just funny to me because I was like, yeah, man, I don't think you stole the title of my song. Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that he took the time and listened to whatever he listened to. Was I good enough at the time? Apparently not. In my heart of hearts, I feel like eventually I did get better to that point where I could have popped off, but I never did. Some of my music is online, but that's a different story. So I excused myself from this dinner meeting that we're having in Jimmy's Bronx, and I go to the bathroom. So Joe used to rock with this dude called Macho. So Macho was like a little mini me of Fat Joe. I'm not even lying to you. I don't know what he was. I don't think he was Spanish. I used to talk to him all the time in Spanish, and he didn't respond to me, so I don't think he was Spanish, bro. But anyway, I excuse myself from the table. I go to the bathroom, right? So while I'm in the bathroom, there's some dude in there talking about, yo, I'm Macho. He's talking to some guy and he's talking, we gonna get some girls and I'm Macho and I work with Fat Joe and I'm in there taking a piss, right? And I'm listening to all this nonsense and I'm like, wait, I was just with Macho at the table. What this nigga talking about, bro? So whatever, I do my do, you know what I'm saying? I go back to the table and I tell myself, I tell Joe, excuse me, Pop. There's some dude in the bathroom, bro, talking about he Macho. Now Macho breaks his neck. Now I don't know if this dude had been doing this for a while because when I brought it to their attention, boy, you want to see how. I don't even remember Joe standing up. Like everybody got up. Like, well, not everybody. Some people got up from the table, but there was because around the table that already was ushering towards the bathroom. So they were like, show me him, show me where he's at. So they take me with them. Now I'm with 100 niggas behind me, all right? And we go into the bathroom, and where is he, where is he, where is he? And I point the nigga out, bro. And then they grabbed him and they stomped him out and they start, nah, I'm bullshitting, bro. About the beating him up part. I think they did like grab him and yoke him, but I don't think they beat the brakes off of him. But I went out from the bathroom. As soon as all this started happening, they said pointing him out and all them niggas kind of got around him. I went out the bathroom and went back to the table. They all came back a couple minutes later. Some of them laughing, some of them. And I think dude was in there like, I don't know, trying to run game to bitches saying that he was macho or whatever. It don't matter none. But it was a funny situation nonetheless. But he ran Jimmy's Bronx. Like, you don't understand how many people would be at this club, and he was the fucking man there, bro. Like, the night we was there, he had ordered so much food, bro. He was a very cool cat to be around, really inviting, but at the same time scary. So it's really like, and mind you, I was in a position where he invited me to, a dinner to go over my album, so it was something a little different. I don't know if any would have just approached the table like that if it would have went, but it was just bugged out to see so many people around him. So when I hear him telling these stories, and a lot of people be like, he's capping, yo, I seen a lot of it. Like, I seen things go down at Jimmy's and like dudes get their wig peeled back. I'm talking about completely peeled back, bro. And it was yes, like facts. Something go down in the club and it makes its way outside, or yo, it was just weird, bro. It was very weird to envision from my point of view. It was an experience to say the least, B. But yo, Joe used to have hella people around him. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, small period of time that I was around him, maybe 4 or 5 times in my life completely. He wouldn't remember who the fuck I am, but I always remember back to the Rhythm Factory. And then that's another thing, because you can't check on the Rhythm Factory. How crazy is that? So I could tell you all these stories, and you could go Google a Rhythm Factory right now, and guess what, yo? Ain't nothing gonna come up. You're not gonna find nothing. I don't even think the Rhythm Factory exists as a club in the Bronx. It'd tell you about the birthplace though, but not about the real shit that was going on in the birthplace. And when I tell you, this was before Joe was on. All right, so I can't claim that he was a little nigga walking around with 30 niggas around him when he was 5, because I wasn't born yet. And I can't say that I was there when he robbed 70 niggas in the gym, because I was still in grammar school. All right, but what I can say is Joe was on before he was on. All right, when they called him Fat Joe, I mean, he was Fat Joe. Truck jewels, bro. Intimidating presence, bro. Just a real boss swag. I mean, I hate to use the word, but he had a very boss presence, yo. And then if he wasn't there, you just won't understand, yo. So anyway, is Fat Joe Mr. Kappa? I mean, I think he may embellish his stories a little bit, but truth of the matter, no, I don't. I think Fat Joe has lived a life that not many have. His statistics usually be wow on Joe and Jada's show, but the statistic about somebody having a life similar to Fat Joe is probably 1 in a billion, bro. I mean, maybe my statistics are off. Puerto Ricans be just blowing up stories, bro. What you want? I ain't blow up these stories though. They ain't really nothing to blow up. You know what I mean? Joe was the man before he was the man. There's really nothing to say about it. But yeah, man. So this was Story Times with Boogs. You know what I mean? Not really, but it kind of was. If you like this, you can subscribe, share, and whatever the fuck the mumbo jumbo from YouTube is. But and you'll catch me on another video. We may do one of these little story times again.